So now I have the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Now I need to find the chin, and then once I find the chin, I can do the top of the head. So I'm going to go back to my eyes, and I'm going to measure again with the eyes. So just like I did with the nose and the mouth, I put that there, that edge even with the eyes, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4. The chin, which is actually right about here, is a little bit more than 4 eye widths. So I do the same thing. So I can go ahead and measure 1, 2, 3, well actually 3 and 4. Remember, it was a little bit further than 4, so a little bit more than 4. So right there is where the chin is. Okay, and then I can figure out where the top of the head is. So I'm going to do the same thing. Well, I had counted that it was actually 4, but let's go ahead and measure. Okay, so I don't have to turn my card around. I'm actually going to put the top of the card at the top of the head, and then I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, and then right here's the eyes, and it's 3.5. So the top of the head is actually 3.5 eyes high from this line. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then a half. So that's where the top of the head is. That might look a little bit big, but once I get everything drawn in, it will actually look pretty good. Okay, so once I have that located, I have the sides of the head, top of the head, and the chin. But I want to go ahead and figure out where the ears are. So what I'm going to do is use the blank side of my card, and I'm going to line up the ears and make them go straight across. And what I see is that the ears actually line up with the bottom of the eyes. So I'm going to do that on my drawing by laying the card across this way. And there's lining up with the bottom, and then the ears are going to be there and there. So that's the top of the ears, and we do the same thing with the bottom of the ears. And when I do the bottom of the ears, what I'll notice is that the bottom of the ears line up with that divot in the center of the upper lip. Okay, so making sure that this card is parallel with that line, I'm going to go ahead and bring that over, and here's basically the bottom of the ears. Okay, looks a little bit weird now, but I have it mapped out, so now I can go ahead and start to sketch things in. So this is the top of the head. Alright, and what I want to be careful of is that that's not the hair. The hair is actually down here, so I have a little bit of a hairline. I'm not completely bald yet. I'm going to sketch this in. Now this is the side of the head. It's actually kind of here buried in the hair there. So I'm actually going to come in just a little bit and draw the hairline in. Trying to pay attention to the lines and the shape. And I'm really trying to draw the hair in as a large shape. Okay, so I'm not trying to draw every single hair in. So that's the top of the ear, and that's basically right where the ear meets the hair. Okay, so the comes down this way, and the hair kind of comes down. The side of the face comes out. It's almost straight up and down here. That's the bottom of the ear, and then the jawline turns in and comes across to the chin. Now my chin's not very distinct here, so what I can actually try to do is to try to draw in the shadow line and then get it up here. Trying to draw in the shadow kind of helps me visualize where everything is and how everything lines up. Okay, and then I do the same thing on this side. Alright, so the hair comes in, comes up. Okay, the hair actually comes up a little bit higher than the top of the head because I do have a little bit of hair up there. Okay, and then just like I did on this side, I'm going to go ahead and figure out where the side of the face is, comes down. Okay, same thing, kind of The chin is a little difficult to see on that side, so I'll leave that go for now. And then I can go ahead and rough in the ear. The ear's a little bit difficult to see on this side because it's so much in shadow. Okay, and then do the same thing on this side. If I wanted to, I could actually measure the width of the ear, but I can kind of eyeball it at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of rough in the shapes, not worried about a lot of detail. Okay, and then I want to kind of figure out where the neck is. So what I'm going to do is to actually turn my card vertically and line it up with the neck. And I can kind of see, right here's where the neck is, and it comes up and lines up with the eyebrow over here. So the eyebrow might be out a little bit far. So I'm going to come straight down. And the neck kind of comes down and curves out just slightly, and do the same thing over here, and it kind of lines up in the same vicinity. Again, I'm going to come straight down from that eyebrow, and it's the same thing, kind of comes down and curves out just slightly. Now I don't want the neck to be too long, so I'm going to go ahead and measure. Okay, lining up with the bottom of my chin, I can see that it's 1.5 eyes to the shirt. Okay, so turn that 1.5. So right there's the shirt. The shirt's a little lopsided, curves up, and then kind of comes around. And then I want to go ahead and do the shoulders. So one of the things I can do is actually put my card up there. Let's turn it around this side and get the slant. So the shoulders don't come straight out, or they don't hunch up. And so it kind of starts up here. I'm trying to just go in the same direction, not too steep. Okay, and then I could do the same thing over here. Okay. What I was doing is to see if I had this right. I think, yeah, actually this side's down a little bit lower than the other side, so I think I'm pretty good. Alright, so I have everything roughed in now. I can go ahead and fix the chin up a little bit and get a little bit of shading in there and sketch in the shadow. Sometimes if I get those shadow lines in, they kind of help me really see everything. Actually, the neck is a little skinny. You can kind of see that. So I'm going to just move it out just a little bit further. And then erase that one. Okay. And then what I can do is go ahead and erase my guidelines. So this is another reason I don't want to do all this work and make a really great drawing, because when I erase the guidelines, a lot of times I erase a lot of what I've just put in. And I can actually take a smaller eraser too and go back in very carefully. But the nice thing is that I can still see my features, so even though I kind of erase them all, they're still there. And I can quickly put those back in. And the nice thing is that my proportions are accurate, and now is the time whenever I can go a little slower, pay a little bit more attention, put in a little bit more detail, and make it a little bit more realistic. So even though it's only taken me 20 minutes or so to do a quick sketch of the face, I mean, I might spend another hour just really fixing stuff and making it a little bit neater, making it more accurate. I can tell right now that the lips need work. They're a little on the big side, especially the upper lip. Okay. So, anyway. So I don't want to spend too much time making it too neat right now, because I can do that later. But basically, the proportions are pretty accurate, and then once I go back in and fix up everything and make the shapes more accurate and add some shading, it will actually be a very realistic looking portrait. Shoulders need to be a little bit bigger. So that's how I draw portraits.